The following is a paid program, and the views expressed on this show do not represent the views of WJZ-FM, Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, your host from Akers Financial Group. I'm the president and founder of Akers Financial Group. Here with me today is Jeff Akers, certified financial planner professional, a lifelong cousin of mine, but he did not get his job because of his family relations. He got it because of his trustworthiness. Jeff Akers, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad that I got the job because of my trustworthiness. That's a good thing.
Well, it was 20 years ago, this September, it'll be 20 years ago that you and your wife drove up to Maryland from Texas and started working alongside me, and then you've blossomed into this certified financial planner professional, giving out sound advice, using your master's degree in counseling and marriage and family counseling many times each and every week, right, Jeff?
It comes in very handy, talking with folks. In counseling, we look at a system, a family as a system, and there are different ways to enter into that system. And finance is a way to enter into that system. I've told folks before that when I sat down with people as a counselor, they wouldn't say much, they wouldn't talk much. But I sit down with someone as a financial planner, and they'll start talking about their finances, and then they'll talk about anything. And it comes in really helpful to figure out what their situation is and to help them financially and ultimately in their life as well.
All right, for those listeners out there, this show, Winning in Retirement, is about getting people prepared to win in retirement, and also about you, the retiree. How do you keep on winning? How do you make sure your money can last a lifetime? This show is going to be on retirement income. When we think about the Americans that are coming to the age of retirement income is an extremely important piece of all decisions as you begin retirement and as you maintain your retirement and through all these years. So, Jeff, when you're thinking about retirement income, what's some basic thoughts you have on people as they enter retirement?
Well, we want to figure out their specific situation. They're entering retirement. How old are they? What's their family history with regard to life expectancy? You might be retired 20 or 30 years, and we've got a plan for a lot of uncertainty over that time period. 20 years ago was just the year 2000. Everybody remember Y2K? And has anybody thought about that much here recently as we go through something called coronavirus? So there's a lot of things that can come up over 20 or 30 years, and we have to be prepared for that. And so I want to start thinking about that at the beginning of retirement.
Right. And we begin with our conversation with a client by starting with a unique financial fingerprint. You are unique, just like your fingerprint is unique. We want you to be able to take your individual information, and we gather it all together to find out where we are to start. So when we're talking about unique financial fingerprint, how do you start with a client besides their age and name and spelling their name right? What kind of information do you do, Jeff?
We want to find out what kind of assets they have. What do you have in a 401k or in the bank? Those kinds of things. We also want to find out about your debt. Do you have any debt? And if you do, what kind of debt is that? And how can we work to get that paid down? We also want to take a look at your tax situation. We also like to look at whether or not you have legal documents in place to protect your family. So there's a lot of steps in that financial planning process and figuring out that financial fingerprint, what's unique about each person. Are you going to have pension income? Maybe you worked for the federal government. You're not going to have Social Security, but you do have a pension. Maybe you worked in the private sector and you're going to have a big 401k, but no pension, and you'll have Social Security. So we need to figure out all of those kinds of things going in. The idea of financial planning is figure out where you stand now what are your goals, and how do we get from where you are to where you want to go?
Yeah, so that financial planning is a very important topic, but retirement income matters, especially for baby boomers. When we think about different age groups, there was the Depression babies. That generation always saved money. Many times they lived within their means. Many times they had pensions and Social Security that met their needs. There wasn't as much investments until the early 80s, about 1983, when ERISA created the beginnings of a 401k plan, where the idea of saving for retirement became more the responsibility of the employee. And we sit here 40 years later, and what we find is that almost all the retirement responsibility is on the employee. There are still a few pensions out there, but generally you need to create your own ability to have retirement income. So this show is going to be about taking that responsibility and turning it into income that you can count on. That's going to be reliable and sustainable and predictable. That's going to keep coming throughout your retirement years. So, Jeff, when you think about baby boomers, what kind of thoughts do you have about that category of people?
Oh, that category, the boomer people.
In a nice way.
I'm actually married to a baby boomer, so I'll be nice about baby boomers. Baby boomers, they've probably saved money in a 401k. They might be inheriting money from their parents, and they may have already done that, or that may be coming soon. And so, we want to take a look at like you said, pensions have kind of faded away. There's very few of those. So we're taking a look at what kind of assets they have saved up in that 401k and how can we turn that into income. They may also have debt, and we want to work at getting rid of that debt, because the more debt you have, the more income you're going to need. And when we're working, it's simple. We increase our income by working more or getting a raise. But when you're retired, they call it a fixed income for a reason. And when you're on a fixed income, we don't want to have a lot of fixed expenses. And so when we talk about baby boomers, I want to look for debt and see if they've got debt that we can eliminate to improve their situation.
Yeah, very, very true. Now, I want to do a little bit of basic things. So I've always felt that baby boomers spent a lot more money than depression babies, that they have been more of a spender. So you can almost see through the stock market and through the economy the amount of money that they've spent through the years. And then there are some savers of baby boomers that are great savers. We have many of them as clients. Then we have sort of the rest of the baby boomers where they save, but when they get closer to retirement, they're always wondering, is it enough? Am I truly retirement ready? And so what we're going to do on today's show is talk about how do you know? How do you make it all work? So I want to give an example of the way I think, which is going to be very strange for those. And you can tell with Jeff's degree in counseling that he probably uses it on me. There's a story that Zig Ziglar, he's a speaker that was around the country for many years. He did this thing called a cash cow. It's an example of where does money come from, and you use the image of a cow and you say, well, what is your first cash cow in your life? And your first cash cow in your life is truly your job. And that job, from day one, you got to make some very wise decisions. You really, really need to make sure when you have your cash cow giving milk, you got to start saving and paying yourself first right away. So that first cash cow becomes your job. And throughout our career, our job is to build a cash cow herd. Many different types of cash cows, which could be your 401k, TSP, 403b, SEP IRA, simple, whatever a retirement plan might be cash value life insurance, might be stock savings, all kinds of real estate, things like that create money that you get to these retirement years. Now, one of the things I would tell you is this, is that as we build this cash cow herd, you have a bunch of things to take money from at retirement. When you're in your 60s, we recommend that when you milk the cows, you don't eat any cows. So it's a very simple concept. The investments and whatever they're earning and giving you in your 60s, if you can live off the interest, the dividends, the basics, and don't eat the cow or eat the principal, if you want to break into financial terms, You would make your money last longer. We don't want you eating into principal into your 70s or later, depending on your life expectancy. All right, Jeff, I finished my little cow story. What's your opinion?
Yeah, so Brian's been at this for over 30 years, and so when I sit down and talk with a client that he's had for a really long time, it's a little bit comical because they'll tell me about the cash cow, and they just want to milk the cow. They don't want to eat the cow. They want to save the cow, keep it for later. And so it's one of those illustrations that Brian says it's weird, but it sticks. And people get that. They understand. Once I kill the cow, there's no more milk. I eat steak for a while, but then it's gone. And so they learn that idea of I just want to milk the cow and I want to keep it going so that I can have it for a long time to come.
So understanding your herd, your cash cow herd, is extremely important. In my office that we meet with clients, I do have a stuffed cow in the office. And I do give this talk to high schools and talk about how to begin and save, and how you save first. And it gets a little corny with leaky buckets and crying over spilt milk, things like that. But this is it. We want to be serious about your retirement. We want you to win in retirement. And that battle is all about income. Where's that income going to come from? And can you trust your income? Many people are very worried about their income with a very volatile market that we've been seeing this year. Those that have a lot of money in stocks are worried that, can I keep getting consistent income, or was this sustainable? Those that have their money in lower risk CD investments, things like that, interest rates keep dropping and dropping, and that interest rate won't meet their needs. So there has to be a combination of a diversified portfolio to create a retirement income plan for you and your family. So you got to start by knowing where you are. What do you think about that one, Joe?
Well, you do have to know where you are right now and kind of make those plans, because there's inflation. It's one of those things we've got to account for. So that's one of the things that we try to plan on.
Because what happens is maybe you are currently in a reaction mode. You're defensive about these investments. You're sitting on your sofa and you're sitting back and you keep sort of slouching into your couch. What happens is that takes away some of the energy being defensive. What you need to do is be creating. You need to sit up, sit forward. Let's create this income, create this flow that you need to provide for income from now and through your retirement years. That's what we do at Akers Financial Group. Just give us a call to schedule a free phone or video meeting. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call us, leave a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video meeting. We look forward to when we can meet in person. Typically, we're doing mask to mask if we do meet in person, which can be done. You can start playing now by calling 833-946-7384 or go to acresfinancial.com or check out our Facebook page. Will your cash actually flow to you in retirement? We'll cover that right after this.
Long before 18-year-old Brooks Robinson was signed to play third base, and years before Natty Boh began brewing at the corner of Conkling and O'Donnell Streets, Baltimore families relied on the Evans family and the Evans Funeral Chapel and cremation services to help them during some of their most important family moments. Hi, I'm Charlie Evans, and for 4 generations, my family and I have been there for families, providing care and compassion in their time of need. Evans Funeral Chapel and Cremation Services provides the best facility, staff, and personalized service for your family. We have 3 convenient locations to serve the community: Parkville, Forest Hill, and Hereford. For more information, visit us online at evansfuneralchapel.com or call 410-665-9444. Evans Funeral Chapel and Cremation Services, serving Baltimore families since 1865. I invite your confidence.
Akers Financial Group was founded on the principles of integrity, trust, and service. We believe each and every client is unique and deserves advice and implementations that apply directly towards their personal financial fingerprint. This financial fingerprint tells us the objective risk tolerance and purpose of the investment and insurance tools that we use to assist our clients in reaching their goals. By discovering the purpose of each financial decision, we can help you accomplish your goals. Intelligent financial design starts with a detailed balance sheet and cash flow to know where to start. This leads to a financial decision that will allow you to reach your goals with your risk tolerance in mind. Our relationships begin with an initial consultation and grows with each meeting. We would be thrilled to work with you and begin your planning process. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. Or visit our website at akersfinancial.com. Member FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We're both certified financial planner practitioners at Akers Financial Group. Throughout the listening area, we have the ability to work with you and meet with you. We're licensed in over 23 different states currently, and growing depending on where our clients retire to or get transferred to, and a few people around the world currently. All right, so Jeff, today we're talking about cash flow. One of the things that I would like to talk about is, will your cash actually flow to you in retirement? What are your opinions on that?
Well, we want the cash to be flowing. We live here in Harford County. There's the Susquehanna River between us and Cecil County, and the water just keeps coming down through the river until it gets to the Conowingo Dam. And so we want to be careful that our cash flows and it doesn't get stopped by a dam like that. So, we've got to be careful, make sure our income is planned out for us.
So you want cash to flow like a river?
Yes, I do.
All right, so rivers start out usually somewhere higher up and it trickles, then it builds and builds and builds. It's almost like someone's career, where if you retire at 21 after your first paycheck, it would be a trickle for a very short period, then stop. So as you save and grow your money, you can create a river that actually flows. All right, so when the river's flowing, you mentioned the Conowingo Dam. So that basically is things that stop a river, stop the cash flow. Your budget is what comes in, your income, and then what goes out, the expenses. What do you think about expenses during retirement years, Jeff?
So one of the things we want to make sure of is that we can get rid of debt, because that's an expense that it just eats up our cash that comes in, our income. There's only two ways to improve cash flow. One is increase the income, and the other is decrease the expenses. So getting rid of debt is a way to decrease your expenses. But some of the other expenses that come into play, healthcare. We're all going to have to pay for healthcare. Once you're over 65, Medicare kicks in. And those are kind of ever-increasing expenses. And again, I've mentioned inflation before. We've got to be prepared for inflation. So our income, I like how Brian talked about the river kind of builds over time as these tributaries come in. Well, we want your income to build over time as well, so it'll keep up with inflation. And, by the time you get towards the end of retirement, you've got this big gusher river coming down of income to take care of your needs.
All right, so some of the key expenses we like to get rid of between your work years and retirement years is debt. We'd love for you to enter retirement with zero debt. Yes, I think you should have your house completely paid for. I know mortgage rates are low and people can argue, well, investment returns are higher. I think retirement is a cash flow battle. Cash flow battle is the amount of money coming in to pay the bills. If you have a $2,000 mortgage, that means you need to have money set aside to provide that. Generally at a 4% rate, you're going to need $500,000 to $600,000 of investable capital that will then pay taxes and then get you your $2,000 a month to pay the mortgage. And normally that $2,000 a month mortgage is less than $500,000. So I believe cash flow gives you freedom. Without the debt, you have freedom in retirement to do many, many things. So if you're thinking about what to do to win in retirement, find ways to get rid of debt. Can be some of the best investments in a volatile time like we have right now. What other expenses are things we need to really make sure we have under control, Jeff?
Well, folks like to do all kinds of things. They like to travel, and we love it when our clients take trips and we get to see pictures and talk about the places they go, and we want you to be able to do that. But we want to plan for it and plan wisely for it. So, that's an expense that it's discretionary. That means you can choose. I can do it now or I can do it later. I can do one every other year or I can do one each year. So we want to plan for that. I think back years ago, someone who had gotten a windfall of cash, and these were folks that never had a whole lot of money, but they got that windfall, and the first thing they wanted to do was travel around the world, and suddenly that windfall of cash was gone. It really could have helped them set up for retirement, but they spent it instead. So that's one of the things. We talked about debt. That's got to be gone. If you pay off a credit card debt that's got an interest rate of 15%, well, you're guaranteeing yourself that you're not going to be paying 15%. There's no investment out there that's going to guarantee a return like that. So getting rid of those debts is important. And yes, the market has been good in recent years, and even in the last quarter, it's been pretty good. But it's volatile. It's up and down. So we can't rely on that to be consistent month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. We have to plan for the downtimes as well.
So the actual biggest expenses in retirement are health care and taxes. Jeff, can you cover health care expense for the retiree?
Well, healthcare is kind of interesting because of Medicare. While you're working, you pretty much have one healthcare expense. You pay healthcare through your employer, or your employer pays it for you. And when you retire, you get Medicare. And when you're on Medicare, you get Part A and Part B, and you get one Medicare card for that. There is a premium for Medicare Part B. This year it's $144.60 for most folks. It is means tested, so it could actually be more than that. Then you get a supplement, a Medicare supplement that covers all the things that Medicare, there are gaps in Medicare, and so it covers all those. So now you're paying another bill for that. And then you have to get prescription coverage, which is Part D. And prescription coverage, you get a separate plan for that. So what used to be one card in your wallet to cover your health expenses is now 3 cards in your wallet and 3 different bills that you have to pay. And the cost of care for health care is going up. Anytime you look at the rates for Medicare, they'll publish how much health care costs. It's just increasing year after year after year. And so it is a big expense for a healthy couple at 65. You can expect to pay around $500,000 over the course of retirement on health care. That includes premiums and your co-pays and all that kind of stuff. So healthcare is a huge expense, and that could be a whole other show all by itself at some point.
But that is your show, Jeff. You're our resident healthcare expert at Akers Financial Group. As part of retirement planning, we have people talk to Jeff about what are they going to do about their health care to make sure they make wise decisions, especially if they retire prior to 65 and as they transition from work to 65 with a combination supplement or some type of plan through their work. That's a very big part of all retirement plan. And it's all part about the expenses. Tax is also a large expense. We're going to cover that later. But retirement income, what's the positive? Retirement income, I had a client this week. He came in. He wants to retire end of August, so in about a month. That guy, let's call him Mr. Jones. His wife, Kim Jones, she's out there. She's getting ready to retire too, but she's trying to save money over time, So we have Fred Jones and Kim Jones. And so Fred Jones wants to retire at the end of the month. Fred is basically saying, I want to take a pension. I'm relatively young. I want single life. And then Kim Jones says, I'm 6 years younger. And then I'm like, hey, don't take single life. Your wife's younger. Your wife's most likely ladies live longer, but if you had the same age, then you add 6 years younger. That could be like a 9-10 year difference. So I spent a meeting trying to explain joint and survivor. So prior to retirement, choosing the right pension options is extremely important. Many times with military retirees, we find that they come to us with already chosen their single life pension because they chose it at a young age. And then what happens later on is their wife would get absolutely nothing if they passed away. So pension choices is a key piece of beginning to organize your retirement income.
Yeah, so pensions are one source of income that we need to pay attention to. Another one is what kind of assets have you built up that you're going to use to turn into income. And while we're working, we're used to accumulating, we're gathering, we're bringing stuff in, and we're building this account up, and we get kind of used to that. But when we retire, we're entering a distribution phase. That's where we're taking money out of our investments. And that is a really big shift for folks to go through. And so we want to do that wisely. There are tax implications that we'll get into in a little bit. But there's just that mindset of, I've been building this up, and now I'm going to start milking the cow. I'm going to start taking some money out of this. And how do I do that in the best way possible? Warren mentioned the single life option. Sometimes in order to cover a spouse like that, we have to look at things like life insurance. Because like he said, if the husband passes away, the wife is left with nothing. And that's not a plan that we want to have. So we need to figure out how we're going to replace income for the surviving spouse in situations like that. So we're always taking a look at not just the husband or not just the wife, but what about both of them together? How are we going to get both of them through retirement and keep their cash flowing down towards the mouth of the river?
All right, so cash flow, knowing where your income is going to come from and where you're actually going to pay your bills and what they're going to be, is all part of the planning to help you make retirement work. Then you have to truly basically take your cash cow herd, your set of investments, and look at each and every one on how to take withdrawals and how to take that money over time. The thing I was saying earlier is about in your 60s, try to live off of interest and dividends and not eat the principal. Don't eat the cow too early. So when we're thinking about retirement income, Jeff, let's do this real quick. Let's say someone has a CD. What kind of income do you live off of with CD?
CD is interest income.
How about with stocks?
Stocks, you might get dividend income.
Mutual funds.
Again, that's going to be dividend income, similar to stocks.
All right, so let's say you buy a stock index. Is there a dividend paid from an index fund?
An index fund might pay a dividend, but the index itself doesn't show dividends in its calculation, like the S&P 500.
Right, so there's some big choices on how you pick and choose your income. It all comes part of your retirement plan. The reason you want to retire is because you want to get your time back. When you get your time back, you get to decide how to use your time. Before your retirement, your time is tied up by other commitments, mainly your job, mainly working, hustling, saving, trying to build. A lot of your time goes away. What you need to do is this. Think about winning in retirement. Think about having time and having your time back. At Akers Financial Group, we can help you get ready for those days. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. You can look at our website, akersfinancial.com, and basically reach us through there. Also, you can check us out on Facebook. Will you run out of money in retirement, or will you have income to last a lifetime? This is a really important segment you need to hear right after this.
Are there times in some games you wish you could just turn on the TV at the 2-minute warning? Because that's the most important part of the game, right? As a fan, these are the most exciting moments. Your team could take home the victory or crumble under pressure. But when it comes to your retirement, don't wait until the last 2 minutes. So much can happen in the final working years before retirement. Whether you're in your 50s or 60s, near or already in retirement, there's still time to put a plan in place. Don't wait until right before you retire to begin planning for your future. Can you win the retirement game like that? Come in and talk with the team at Akers Financial Group. They've been helping families in Maryland plan for retirement for over 30 years. Call to schedule your complimentary meeting at 833-WIN-RETIRE. The number again is 833-WIN-RETIRE. Start planning for your retirement now. Call 833-946-7384. Member FINRA SIPC.
Akers Financial Group was founded on the principles of integrity, trust, and service. We believe each and every client is unique and deserves advice and implementations that apply directly towards their personal financial fingerprint. This financial fingerprint tells us the objective risk tolerance and purpose of the investment and insurance tools that we use to assist our clients in reaching their goals. By discovering the purpose of each financial decision, we can help you accomplish your goals. Intelligent financial design starts with a detailed balance sheet and cash flow to know where to start. This leads to a financial decision that will allow you to reach your goals with your risk tolerance in mind. Our relationships begin with an initial consultation and grows with each meeting. We would be thrilled to work with you and begin your planning process. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. Or visit our website at akersfinancial.com. Member FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers, and it's after halftime of the Akers Financial's Winning in Retirement show. We're out of the locker room, motivated, ready to bring it in the second half. Right, Jeff?
That's right. It's the third quarter. It's go time.
It's go time. It's time you bring out your best. You bring out your best efforts. So we're going to go quickly. Hopefully you have a notepad while you're driving. No, a notepad somewhere where you can keep track of some of these ideas and thoughts. All right, this second half, we're going to start out with this topic. Will you run out of money in retirement? It's one of the biggest fears of Americans. Will you have income to last a lifetime? This is very, very important for you to listen. And this next 12, 13 minutes of Winning in Retirement, I want you to really, truly focus on the concept of, will your money last a lifetime? What are your original thoughts on that, Jeff?
So if you're milking the cow, you're not eating the cow, then your money will last. But if you start eating that principal away, then eventually that money will run out once you start taking principal out of it. So we want to put off the eating of the principal until you're older, closer to the end of retirement.
Yeah, so we get a new client, and that new client is taking out 6%, 8%, 10% off of their 100% stock portfolio. That's the first thing we see in our math is, hey, stop. Something's not right here, especially if they're 58 years old, 62 years old, and they're draining it at such a high rate. Do you get that same response?
We've seen that in the past. Folks are taking a bunch of money out of a stock portfolio and they think this is easy. Stocks go up all the time, and then they have a bad year. Stocks go down, they took a big chunk of money out, and now they're losing principal.
And the thing to do right now is people are buying extremely high yield corporate bonds, 10, 12, 14%, and they're cranking their income up to that rate, thinking that money is going to be reliable and sustainable for the rest of their life, not understanding the reason that the yield's so high is because the corporate bonds lost value. And the thing is that will that last? That's a hard thing to say yes to in the volatile environment that we are in.
As interest rates go up, the value of bonds goes down. And so we've got to be prepared for that. The other thing is if they're paying a really high yield like that, it's because there's risk involved. That's the only way you're going to get that kind of yield. And risk means they might stop paying that and you might lose your money in that bond. So we don't want to rely on that and think that's going to be guaranteed throughout retirement, because it is not.
All right, so at Akers Financial Group, we start with your unique financial fingerprint. We find out about you. You can go to our website at akersfinancial.com. On our top tab, you can see documents, and you'll see our documents to begin with, and that is discovering and identifying your financial fingerprint. We start there, and then we examine what you're doing now and what your plan is, and then we look at ways to make this money last a lifetime. So, Jeff, what are some ways to take investment money and to make it last a lifetime?
So if we're taking investment money, we're taking it out of stocks. One of the things we might do, it's not guaranteed, but we can use dividends. Brian talked about that before. We can use dividends and income, and then we're not selling the stocks, but that's still not guaranteed. One of the ways that we can guarantee it is through what's called annuitization. We've done shows before on what annuities are and how they work, but that's a way that the insurance company guarantees you're going to receive a payment for the rest of your life. And if you're married, you can get something that's guaranteed for your life and your spouse's life. And that's a way to have some income that you will not outlive. That
creates your own pension. Typically, we don't recommend annuitization as an option for people to take money. You give it to an insurance company, you buy an immediate annuity, and then they start sending payments. Those payments are calculated on today's interest rates. which are extremely low. Once you lock in an annuitization, you lock in for life. And you got to make sure you make wise choices if you need to do this. This is a way to pump up income if you're running short and things are getting extremely tight. You can use immediate annuities to do that, sort of like a last resort option. But it's not a fundamental piece that we use in our planning when it comes to making money last a lifetime. What is a piece that we are using at Akers Financial?
Well, some of those annuities have what are called income riders, which is another way to guarantee the income coming to you. And we can even get income that can increase in some of these over time. So it's kind of like having a little cost of living adjustment along the way using an income rider. So that's a better strategy to use than annuitization like Brian was talking about. A couple of other guaranteed pieces of income could be pension. We talked about pensions before. And another one is Social Security. Social Security coming from the government, and that's a guaranteed source of income.
Yeah, you say guaranteed source of income, and then part of that makes me a little queasy because it's guaranteed by the federal government to a certain level. If you actually read your Social Security statement, it has a paragraph now that states when the funds are going to have to reduce and change the way they pay out. I think the last one I saw was 2037, that under the current conditions they're going to have to reduce payments by 2037. 2020 is the first year where the amount of money going out is supposed to be less than the money going in. With extreme unemployment this year and everything else, people are not paying into Social Security. That's going to be even worse than they predicted in January on that shortfall funding Social Security. Social Security, the word is provided by the government. It's been around since 1935. Social Security is a piece of retirement. It should not be your only piece. We think that is so important that next week, next Saturday, we're going to have the whole show on Social Security income and the choices we have now and how so important it is to make wise Social Security decisions. 74% of Americans take Social Security at 62, and we believe they're making a big mistake by choosing to take it too early. We'll talk about that next week on our Social Security show. That'll be Jeff and I next week, so that'll be fun. The Akers boys doing Social Security. All right, so retirement income, let's go back.
All right, so when I think about retirement income, I like to think of layers of income. So one layer could be Social Security. Another layer might be a pension if you have one of those. But then we're starting to get into using assets and turning that into income. And so another layer of that could be the annuity and using an income rider, for example. But then we get into the stock kinds of investments. And we talked about not wanting to take money consistently out of a stock investment. We believe we should have cash set aside to meet your income needs for at least a year, and with the uncertainty that we have right now, maybe even 2 years worth of cash set aside. We don't want to be in a position where we're forced to sell while things are down. We want to be in a position where when things are down, we can let it ride. When things are good, let's take some winnings off the table, and we'll use that to meet our income needs. So those are kind of the layers of retirement income that I like to work through with folks when we're talking about retiring and how to make sure it's going to last a lifetime.
Right. So in the portfolio allocation is the first ingredient. You need to have protected piece and a more actively diversified portfolio. The active diversified portfolio provides dividends and income, and sometimes you take some profit off in the good years. In the bad years, you take the interest and pieces off of the fixed side, the protected side, to help maintain. Right now, with the way the market has bounced back pretty well, basically with everything that's been going on. We really, truly think you ought to look at your cash and your money that's set aside for income. If you don't have a year of cash, you need to look at where could you sell and trim and create that cash for this next year. We don't want to be selling stocks at the down. Some mistakes that we've seen are clients that come in with statements that show taking their monthly income out of their mutual fund portfolio, and the portfolio's set up computer generated, and so they're basically selling stocks every month to provide the income. And so that portfolio is making the decision to sell every month. It's like reverse dollar cost averaging.
Reverse dollar cost averaging it's amazing when you look at charts of how that works. When the market is down, you can run out of money really quickly, just because you're taking a set amount of money out of a depreciating asset, an asset that's going down in value, and that's a way to not have your income last a lifetime. So we don't like to do reverse dollar cost averaging. We want to have that cash set aside. Like Brian said, we're trimming in the good years and we're holding through the down times and letting it recover. Markets tend to recover over time, so we want to give it time to recover, and then we'll use that money to refill that cash bucket that we need for income.
Right, so to make it last a lifetime, we need to take out more money than, actually less money, sorry, I shouldn't say it that way, less money than we're earning. So if we're making, let's say try to make 6% a year, we take out 3 to 4, I think that's going to work over time. If you're making 1 because you have all your money in CDs and you're taking out 4, you're starting to eat the cow. There will be a date when you run out of money. So understanding your math of your investments is very important to start. Let's say you're a great saver and you've saved so well that you've overfunded your retirement. By doing that and having more money, it allows you to have lots of freedom, lots of flexibility on estate planning. There's lots of things you can do when you've built your savings so well. We recommend that as you build such a great wealth, you need to have purpose to your money. Now, as baby boomers, think about it. If you're trying to squeeze everything out of your portfolio to get everything you can to match your income that you need, you got to make sure you got things under control. And so with the help of financial planning, what you get is the review of your cash flow and balance sheet to know where you are, review your portfolio allocation to make sure you're in the right places so that you don't have to take big hits when things go bad. All very important pieces to run your portfolio.
Yeah, taking those big hits when things are bad can really hurt a financial plan and hurt retirement. We got to keep in mind, like we said before, there's inflation. So Brian said if you can make 6% and you're only using 4%, that means you'll have increasing income to the future. And we want that increasing income. We're going to need increasing income because of inflation. And we want that river to be building as it goes downstream.
Absolutely. We are a local and independent financial services firm. We do not report to a big company out of New York or any other special place. We report to you. We have offices in Forest Hill and Lutherville, but we do meet clients throughout Maryland. We obviously will not be coming into our office at this time unless you're wearing a mask. Then if you do that, we meet mask to mask. But you can. We can do that in our Lutherville or Forest Hill office or outside somewhere. This is all about your retirement. Go ahead and give us a call if you'd like to begin winning in retirement at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back to schedule a phone or video meeting. Call us at 833-946-7384 or visit AkersFinancial.com or go to our Facebook page. These might be your favorite 3 words in retirement. Tax-free income. We'll talk about that when we come back.
The choice of your child's school is vitally important. Wouldn't you go a few more miles for something really special? I'm Brian Wilson, principal of Harford Christian School. Harford Christian is an independent school in northern Harford County, serving students in preschool through 12th grade. Our Uncommon Core makes all the difference. For nearly 50 years, we've partnered with parents in the important responsibility of training children in God's truth. Our biblical worldview stands in stark contrast against today's culture. At HCS, political correctness is never prioritized above God's unchanging truth. We hold the bar high as we prepare students to serve God's kingdom, not just the workplace of man. Affordable tuition and transportation options put the choice of Christian education within your reach.
Come visit the longest established Christian school in Harford County. You can become acquainted with us through a private tour or on the web at harfordchristian.org.
You are unique, just as no 2 fingerprints are alike. Each individual's financial situation is uniquely their own. That's why the Akers Financial Group's team of advisors begins each relationship with a proven process that identifies your financial fingerprint. We'll guide you through a series of steps designed to provide a complete and accurate snapshot of where you are right now. Everything we learn about your financial fingerprint will become part of a detailed financial plan created especially for you. We'll never give you a cookie-cutter proposal or suggest a one-size-fits-all portfolio. The financial plan takes you from where you are now to where you need to be. Begin by discovering your financial fingerprint right now by going to getmyfinancialfingerprint.com. That's getmyfinancialfingerprint.com.
Member FINRA SIPC. You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, and here with me today has been Jeff Akers, certified financial planner. We've been working alongside each other for 20 years. So Jeff, we have a lot to talk about today. We've been talking about retirement income. For those listeners who might just be tuning in, you can go to our website at akersfinancial.com. That's AKERS financial.com. When you go to that website, you can check our radio tab. By Wednesday of next week, we'll have this recorded and available to you to listen through any device that you might have. So at akersfinancial.com, you can get the history of our radio shows. You can get last week's annuity show. You can get other information. You can get our market reports and the first 2 weeks of July. A lot of great information. Also, we have a new tab called webinars. You can go on there and see some of the current topics that we've covered through our video webinars and our building library of information there for our clients and for people who are looking into Akers Financial Group. Next week will be our Social Security show. So this week, when we talk about retirement income, we had a little bit about Social Security, but we're not going to talk as much detail because next week, stay tuned for Social Security income and choices that you need to make when it comes to your Social Security. This last segment, Jeff, is this. The 3 favorite words that most people are going to love are tax-free income. How do people create tax-free income?
Yeah, it's the fourth quarter. It's our favorite quarter, and tax-free income is one of our favorite things. And there are a couple of ways to have tax-free income. One of them was something that was passed in the late 1990s called the Roth IRA. And we'll spend a little bit of time talking about that, how that works. But a Roth IRA is some money that we can take out in retirement, and it comes out to us tax-free. And that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, tax-free means when you're over 59 and a half and you've had it over 5 years, you can take Roth IRA contributions and growth. With a Roth IRA, we're always allowed to take our contributions back out as long as we do all the proper paperwork, which many people don't do. But keeping track of your Roth cost base is very, very important whenever you want to take withdrawals, especially if you're under 59 and a half. But a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, a Roth TSP, these are all out there, and many people don't know what it is. We recommend that you really think about hitting the button Roth, and the reason that is that you pay tax now and then never again. You pay tax now, never again. So to create tax-free income in your future, you need to pay tax now. You pay tax now on a smaller stack of money. So you put a $6,000 contribution if you're under 50, $7,000 contribution if you're over 50. That's a regular IRA. You let that money grow. That growth all becomes tax-free, and in return to that money, you can use that to supplement your income as you are retired.
Tax-free growth is a wonderful thing. I was talking to somebody last night about they have some IRA money, but they don't have any Roth IRA money, and they're in their 60s. And so we want to look at kind of levelizing taxes. And so we talked a little bit about Roth conversion. Roth conversion is a way to get some money from your traditional IRA. In other words, it's going to be taxed eventually, and we get it into your Roth IRA, which will never be taxed again. And the way we do that is called a conversion. And in that conversion, we do pay tax on the amount that's converted. But if we can do that at today's rates, today we have historically low tax bracket rates on the federal level. We can do it at today's rates, and we can do it a little bit at a time. One of the things about a traditional IRA is once you reach age 72, the IRS tells you you have to take money out. And at that point, your taxes will go up because that's going to be taxable income that's coming out. So if we can convert a little bit of money now to Roth IRA that reduces the amount that will be taxable coming out later. And then the Roth IRA, we can have that grow, and we can have income in the future that is totally tax-free. And you might have heard that as a nation we're spending a little bit of money and printing a little bit of money, and so we believe that the odds are taxes are going to go up in the future, and that would be a great time to have some income that's not subject to that income taxation. So that's one of the reasons we love Roth IRA, and we'd love to talk to you about how that could work for you.
Now, if you have lower income, and there's different charts that can state this, there's actually a saver's credit. Up to $1,000 is typically the credits. You put in $1,000, if you're on your tax return, they'll credit back $1,000 on your tax return. It's an actual tax credit. So the lower your income is, the better that saver's credit would work if you put money into a 401k or a regular Roth on your own. You can open a Roth IRA with very minimal dollars, $100, $250. Just getting a Roth open is a great thing for you to do for your future. The younger you are, pay tax now, never again. That's a very big deal. To have tax-free income, you need a piece of that. If you have a regular 401k and that's all you have, you've only saved in your 401k, we believe that you might be retirement plan poor. Retirement plan poor means if you have $2 million in that 401k when you retire, you don't really have $2 million in your pocket. You might only have $1.4 million in your pocket because of taxes, federal and state taxes in Maryland on that money. You need to know about tax-free income. Tax-free income from a Roth IRA. There's also tax-free income from things like municipal bonds.
Municipal bonds. There's also life insurance. Sometimes folks have saved as much as they can to the retirement plans. They might have even saved to a Roth IRA, but there are limits to that. And so they put all the money that they can into that, but they still have money they can save for retirement. And so if you qualify for life insurance, we could use life insurance, and that can provide tax-free income for you or for your heirs down the road. Life insurance can be a powerful tool, so it's something that we want to look at to help your specific situation.
Yeah, so life insurance has to be properly structured, it has to be properly funded, and you got to watch all the expenses inside. And whenever you see an illustration of life insurance, you got to see what interest rates they're showing to make sure it's reasonable, to make sure it works over time. One of the things we do at Akers Financial is we review everything you've ever bought and everything you've accumulated in your career, and we bring it all together and say, yes, this works for your planning. Why don't you start using this for income? Why don't you take it out of here? Why don't you use that as part of your plan? Understanding what you own is a very key piece. Now, so we have Roth, we have cash value life insurance, municipal bonds. What I meant by that word is state bonds. It's bonds that are given out by like the state of Maryland are actually triple tax-free. You don't pay tax federally, you don't pay tax Maryland or local tax. That sounds wonderful. My big caution would be this. The federal government can print money to meet shortfalls that they have. States can't. States are having major shortfalls, and they are pushing hard in Congress to get money given to the states to provide for their budget shortfalls. Because when people don't work, they don't pay tax. They don't pay tax, the state doesn't get fed, and then they need their money. So they're going to get their money some way or somehow through raising of fees or taxes or finding out. I doubt they can double up later, but they're going to find ways to basically meet their budget. So be cautious of municipal bonds, because if states can't do that or locals can't, what will happen is there could be some more bankruptcies around the country when it comes to municipal bonds.
Right. We've heard about bankruptcies in the past of local municipal governments, and that makes the municipal bonds not a guaranteed investment, although it's going to be less volatile probably than stocks would be, but it's not guaranteed. So when we're talking about tax-free income, we've got Roth IRAs, we have life insurance, and we have municipal bonds are three types of tax-free income that we can have.
Lower taxed income is capital gain dividends, selling stocks with a capital gain. You can pay between 5%, you actually pay 0% on capital gains at certain levels, up to 20%. Capital gains is a lot cheaper. One of the sad things when you earn 1.4% off your CD, you're at an ordinary income tax bracket. If you earn that same 1 to 3% off a stock dividend, you pay about half the taxes off of dividends versus interest off a CD. Retirement income to us is extremely important. It is the key factor in winning in retirement. What is your cash flow like? Have you organized your finances to have positive cash flow now and throughout your retirement years? How to make money last a lifetime is through diversification and proper use of fixed annuities and income riders. Picking your pensions correctly are very important. Don't always choose to take a lump sum of your pension when the pension could provide a great steady foundation of income that you can count on each and every month. Lots of good, important things you need to know. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, one of the things that I like to do with the pensions is look at the what is the lump sum amount and what's the amount they're going to pay on a joint and 100% survivor basis for a married couple. And I call that a distribution rate. And some of these pensions, they might have distributions rates of 6-7%. And we can't get an investment that's going to give us that kind of distribution rate. I hesitate to say guaranteed because pensions are backed by the company, and then there's a pension benefit guarantee company behind them. But they're fairly secure, and we can't get anything that's going to match that distribution rate. So we have to be careful about whether or not to take a lump sum distribution, roll it over to an IRA, and generate income that way. There are very few situations where that actually makes sense from a numbers standpoint.
There are so many decisions when it comes to retirement income. You need a team of financial advisors on your side, such as one like at Akers Financial Group. Next week, Jeff and I will be talking about Social Security and how it applies to retirement income and how you need to know the options and choices that are available to you. And you need to pay attention to them and maybe take longer to draw instead of drawing right away. Don't be like the 74% of Americans that draw at 62. Maybe you need to wait a little longer to make your money last a lifetime. In retirement, your biggest worry of your day should be where to drink your morning cup of coffee, where every day seems like a Saturday, free of stress. Your retirement income or investments should be taken care of by your financial advisor. We recommend that you meet with one of the team of advisors here at Akers Financial Group. You can begin having your retirement worked out for you. You can begin winning in retirement by calling us 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-WINRETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video meeting. We look forward to meeting you, and we look forward to that time when we can actually meet face-to-face without masks. Right now, if we do a face-to-face meeting, it is with masks. So you can call us at 833-7384, go to AkersFinancial.com, or connect with us through our Facebook page. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated and investment advisory services through Kalos Management Incorporated. Akers Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment.
Are there times in some games you wish you could just turn on the TV at the 2-minute warning? Because that's the most important part of the game, right? As a fan, these are the most exciting moments. Your team could take home the victory or crumble under pressure. But when it comes to your retirement, don't wait until the last 2 minutes. So much can happen in the final working years before retirement. Whether you're in your 50s or 60s, near or already in retirement, there's still time to put a plan in place. Don't wait until right before you retire to begin planning for your future. Can you win the retirement game like that? Come in and talk with the team at Akers Financial Group. They've been helping families in Maryland plan for retirement for over 30 years. Call to schedule your complimentary meeting at 833-WIN-RETIRE. The number again is 833-WIN-RETIRE. Start planning for your retirement now. Call 833-946-7384. Member FINRA SIPC.
Are you reacting or creating with your investments? When you have a sound financial plan, you don't have to be reacting every day. Let us help you create. Tune in to Winning in Retirement, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 105.7 The Fan. Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, and investment advisory services offered through Kalos Management Incorporated, both located at 11525 Parkwood Circle, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30005 678 1100. Akers Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services.
The preceding was a paid program, and the views expressed on this show do not represent the views of WJZ-FM, Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates. Broadcasting from the Thompson Creek Window Company studios. Call Thompson Creek today for the biggest window sale of the year. This is WJZ-FM Gainesville, Baltimore. 105.7 The Fan, a radio.com sports station.